include UN contribution to development thinking and practice, human development reports, the Bretton Woods Institute, and the United Nations. He is the co-director of the UN Intellectual History Project and the co-author of the book UN Ideas That Changed the World. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to Sir Richard Joly. Another speaker, he is the Senior Research Fellow at the City University of New York Graduate Center. He was Special Advisor of the President of Inter-America Development Bank, President of the OECD Development Center, Director of Institute of Social Studies in The Hague, and the Director of ILO World Employment Program. He has published 20 books. I don't know that my number is updated or not. 20 books and about 150 articles in the fields of the economics and education, labor market, and development study. The example of his book are Development Policies and Crisis of the 1980s, the UN Ideas and Global Challenge, the UN Contributions to Development Thinking with Sir Joly. He is also the co-director of the UN Intellectual History Project and the co-author of the book UN Ideas That Changed the World. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Louis Emerit. Last but not least, he's an expert in the human rights field. He was the law professor at Lahore University of Management Science, Executive Director of Center for the Economic and Social Rights in New York. He taught at Columbia School of International and Public Affairs. He worked at the UNDP when he started his career. His publications include Human Rights and the UN, the Political History of Universal Justice, and another book, Human Rights Assessment of Sanction, the Case of Iraq in 1990s to 1997, and several other in the field of human rights protection. And currently, he is the director of the Asia Pacific Program of International Commission of Jurists, ICJ. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Roger Norman. Now, I would like to give the floor to Sir Joly and Professor Imlich on their presentation of the UN Ideas That Changed the World.
Dr. Surakiat Sathirathai, former Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Wirasat Kasurit, Executive Director of ITD, Professor Janet Sirangapat of the Chula Global Network, and Mr. Wacharas Lilawat, who's organized so much of this meeting. We are really glad to be here, and we are very glad to, and thank you very much for this introduction and reception. Indeed, we're honored. This is the first launch of the book we've had in Asia. Tomorrow we will be giving a presentation at ESCAP. And as a major part of the message of the UN is that it's the university informal worlds that have played a major role in the ideas of the UN, both generating and expanding them and promoting them. It's particularly a pleasure to meet with you all here. When we started this UN history 11 years ago, there was no UN history on the economic and social ideas and economic and social actions of the UN. Many books on the Security Council, many books on the political, but virtually nothing, not even on the separate agencies of the UN. Secondly, we decided, thank you, we decided at the beginning this should not only be looking back, but looking forward. It should be a future-oriented history of the UN. And when we come to Asia, although it is clear that Secretaries General like U Thant, the President, Secretary General Mr. Ban Ki-moon, have come from Asia, and Asia in different ways has played a major role in the UN. To be honest, we think it's nothing in the past compared with what it's going to be in the future. Asia, we believe, is not only going to be economically ever more powerful in a multipolar world, but Asian ideas, Asian leadership in international matters, in the UN, is going to be important. So we hope that our presentation will not only be looking back, but will be stimulating, even this afternoon, a discussion with as many of you as are happy to join in on where should Asian leadership be going, in what way should international leadership in the economic and social arena be changed in the future. In order to speed our presentation, I'm going to use PowerPoint to give you an overview of what now is 17 volumes of our UN history. We promised when we started 14. Mr. Kofi Annan, the Secretary General, said you must have something about peacekeeping and how ideas in that area have changed. So we added a book there, and there's others. But in case I go a bit fast with the PowerPoint, there are copies of the book, and we hope that soon Asia Books will have copies for those of you who want it. But we'll also be giving here the PowerPoint at the bottom, www.unhistory.org. And if you go onto that PowerPoint, you will find summaries of this book and summaries of all the other books for those of you who want to see more carefully what we said, or perhaps, if we have researchers present, those who are going to be engaged in research on these themes. Because we're very conscious. We have simply scratched the surface of a big story. But as we believe that global